The world knows Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as a force of nature, an immovable juggernaut who once seemed carved from unbreakable granite, but on August 30, 2025, at Venice's storied Mio Mio Women's Tales screening, he stunned everyone by stepping out noticeably slimmer, his legendary bulk replaced by a lean, refined silhouette that sent cameras clicking and fans doing double takes. One glance at his silk sky blue shirt adorned with playful sketches and the slender lines of his black trousers told a story louder than any spotlight. The Rock had transformed, and the ripple from that moment buzzed across every social feed in Venice and beyond. That evening, the golden sundown shimmered off the Grand Canal as guests made their way into the Palazzo Franchetti, but all eyes gravitated toward Johnson. Gone were the broad shoulders and colossal arms that once burst through every sleeve. Instead, he moved with quiet confidence, the drape of his fabric tracing a newfound grace. Photographers paused, then leaned in, snapshots capturing a man who felt both familiar and entirely new, an action star stripped of his trademark mass and reimagined through the lens of dramatic role prep. This dramatic shift was no vanity stunt, but the result of months of rigorous preparation for his portrayal of Mark Kerr in the upcoming biopic The Smashing Machine. Kerr, a two-time UFC heavyweight tournament champion from the late 90s, built his legend on sheer power and relentless offense, a far cry from Johnson's customary bolder build. To slip into Kerr's battered skin, Johnson embraced a meticulously structured diet of lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and a sustained calorie deficit designed to eliminate bulk while preserving the raw athleticism required for intense octagon sequences. Mornings began before dawn, not with heavy deadlifts and bench presses, but with long runs along quiet beachfronts and sessions on the stationary bike, each stride and pedal stroke chipping away at excess mass. Midday workouts focused on circuit-style training, lighter weights, higher repetitions, minimal rest, to maintain strength without reverting to mass-building routines. Nutritionists monitored his macronutrient ratios, ensuring that every meal fueled energy and recovery: egg white omelets with spinach for breakfast, grilled fish and sweet potatoes for lunch, lean ground turkey with quinoa and roasted vegetables for dinner, and strategic snacks to bridge each training session. But shedding pounds was only half the story. To inhabit Kerr's battle-scarred visage, Johnson spent up to 4 hours each morning in the makeup chair, where prosthetic artists applied more than a dozen silicone and latex pieces, subtle indentations replicating old lacerations, bruised contours hinting at past knockdowns, and micro creases around the eyes that bespoke countless hours in the ring. Layers of color and texture, dust-colored sweat lines, faint redness from imaginary impact, breathed life into the gear, turning Johnson's face into a living battlefield map that spoke volumes without a word of dialogue. As images of Johnson at Mio Mio went viral, social media erupted with reactions as varied as the comments were colorful. Some fans cheered the healthier, more natural look. "Wow, he's finally off the juice," gushed one. "He looks like a normal person now instead of the Incredible Hulk," laughed another. Others mourned the loss of godlike mass. "The Rock became the pebble," quipped a meme-minded user, while rumor mills churned with steroid talk. "He's off that stuff, no more anabolic steroids," got off the gear. As if any downward shift in size must be fueled by clandestine pharmacology. Yet industry insiders and Johnson himself have pushed back against the steroid chatter. There's no credible evidence that he turned to performance-enhancing drugs for this role. Rather, the transformation followed a professional athlete's blueprint: a carefully measured caloric deficit, steady-state cardio to torch fat, and maintenance lifts at lighter loads to preserve muscle tone. Regular blood panels and hormone checks ensured his physiological health remained rock solid even as the scale tipped downward, and recovery protocols, infrared saunas, cryotherapy, compression therapy, helped stave off the joint and tissue stress that often accompany rapid weight change. Understanding why Johnson committed so fully to this whittled-down look requires a closer look at Mark Kerr's own journey. Kerr exploded onto the MMA scene with 17 wins in 23 bouts, bulldozing opponents with raw takedowns and a dominating aura. Yet behind the cage door lay a man fighting equally fierce demons: addiction, depression, and the brutal toll of repeated weight cuts. The 2002 documentary The Smashing Machine revealed Kerr's rise and fall in stark, unflinching detail, and the upcoming biopic aims to honor both his triumphs and tragedies. Johnson's lean frame, battle-worn prosthetics, and rehearsed cage sequences are designed to capture the duality of Kerr's legend: the strength that propelled him forward and the personal costs that almost tore him apart. Of course, such extreme physical metamorphoses spark larger conversations about Hollywood's relationship with body image. From Christian Bale's skeletal transformation in The Machinist to Charlize Theron's steel-toned physique in Atomic Blonde, actors have long sacrificed comfort for authenticity. Yet the very spectacle of these shifts feeds a public fascination, and sometimes a dangerous appetite, for extremes. The Rock's own slimdown invites reflection on where dedication ends and obsession begins, underscoring a collective tension between celebrating disciplined artistry and critiquing the pressures that drive performers toward extremes. As buzz builds for The Smashing Machine's slated 2026 release, Early test screenings hint at a performance that transcends mere physical mimicry. Audiences reportedly praise Johnson's capacity to tap into Kerr's raw intensity without losing the vulnerability beneath. Moments where the camera captures a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes, a brief hesitation before a punch, the weight of personal demons heavier than any knockout blow. If these reactions hold, the dramatic weight loss will be more than a headline-grabbing stunt. It will stand as the foundation of a portrayal that melds physical transformation with emotional truth. When the final credits roll, viewers may come away with more than memories of jaw-dropping fight scenes. They'll have witnessed a star willing to reshape his body and embrace discomfort to tell a story of ambition, addiction, and redemption. In that sense, the real transformation isn't measured in pounds shed but in the newfound dimension it gives to an icon usually defined by mass and might. The Rock's slimmer profile, sculpted for authenticity rather than spectacle, reminds us that the most compelling metamorphoses occur not in the mirror but on the soul stage. So whether you cheered the leaner silhouette, missed the days of Herculean heft, or marveled at the discipline behind the scenes, one truth stands clear: when Dwayne Johnson commits to change, the world leans in. Venice was just the first act in a story that promises grit, grace, and, above all, proof that even the unstoppable force can redefine itself in pursuit of a deeper, more resonant performance. And as The Rock steps into the cage of Kerr's life, every ounce of effort will be on display, reminding us that transformation at its best is as much about heart as it is about muscle.